Okay, so before I went in to watch a Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, which I'm actually going to... I'm going to rename A Big, Bold, Terrible Journey. I walked through the doors and a group of lads came out and were like, oh, what are you here to watch? And I pointed to the poster of A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, and I was taking a piss when I said, oh, that boring one with Margot Robbie. I didn't mean to foresee this film. I didn't mean to look well into the future, but yes, it was. Actually, no, it wasn't boring. It was fucking diabolical. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey was everything. It was the complete opposite of everything I expected and wanted from the film. When I first saw the trailer a few weeks back, I came to watch something else. It actually had me welling up because it looked like Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell. I was going to say Colin Firth. It is Farrell, isn't it? Whatever. Oh my God. Do you know what? Everything about this movie, I've got no interest in it. So anyway, right, it made me well up because it looked like a real personal, sort of meaningful journey of letting go of relationships, saying goodbye to people, saying hello to new opportunities and grabbing, life by the balls, taking chances, things like that. Unfortunately, this was the most unnecessarily artistic feature, to the point of actually irritating. It backfired spectacularly because of how just tediously arty-farty it was. So it begins with this couple who meet at a lady's wedding. So obviously Margot and Colin. So they hook up. Well, they don't hook up. They meet up, and he says something really that if any other guy would say it to a woman, she'd have him arrested within minutes. But yeah, he turns around and he starts chatting her up, and then she sort of chats back and warns him off her. I'm gonna hurt you. I'm not that kind of girl. That kind of shit. So all that spiel starts kicking off, and then it gets to the bit with the doors. The doors. Neither of them question. So there's basically a GPS in both of their cars that they're hiring, and the GPS sends them on it sends them off on one, basically, on the journey they never meant to take. They both end up together. They're a couple who are on the road, and then they come across this door in the middle of a forest. Neither of them this would pass for acceptable and feasible slightly if at least one of them thought they were dreaming or hallucinating, or do you know what I mean? If they just questioned a door in the middle of a fucking forest. But no, all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a door, rat-a-tat-tat, let's go through, have a little look. They end up they visit, so throughout the film these doors appear and they end up visiting different parts of their life. So they go back to his high school, to her hospital where her mum sadly died, and she never got the chance to say goodbye, that kind of thing. So side note, I expected that because that was one of the parts in the trailer that had me welling up, was the fact that her mum, Margot Robbie's mum, is dead in the film. And I thought it would hit me quite hard because my dad is, well, I won't say it that harshly. My dad died many years ago, and she, it's about her going back and sort of, saying just getting the chance to say what she never got to say, that kind of thing. So I thought it would really touch me. It went straight over my head. It was the most unfeeling, cold, void of emotion sort of sequence that I've ever seen in a film. And I was in the mood for that today. I really fancied it, like a sort of, oh, come on, let's have a good cry over a movie like this, over a sort of poignant, sort of heart-touching movie, like A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. But it was shocking, spectacularly shocking, and definitely, certainly not, shockingly spectacular. So, these doors that they go through, they visit various parts of their life, but none of it, I mean, it all clicks together, but none of it has any proper meaning. There's nothing to it. Halfway through, he announces his undying love for her, tells her that, she is suddenly the one who he was meant to be with. Oh my God, cue the vomit-inducing spiel of like, if times get tough, we'll sit down and we'll have a cup of tea together and look up at the stars together, and oh my God, it's like a Tesco value Moulin Rouge. Seriously. Hello. Sorry. You're right. I'm just doing a bit of a... You're right. Sorry. Yeah, right, so yeah, it's Tesco value Moulin Rouge. It's terrible. I half expected frigging Nicole Kidman to pop up, Ewan McGregor or something. Because, again, with that, you've got a lot of performance in this. So, right... so the doors appear, they visit various parts of their life that are really void of any emotion, contain really it's such it's really studious, really some poet had obviously scripted this because it's really in-depth dialogue that just goes on and on and on. The bits I thought would be really emotional and heartfelt and have me actually bursting into tears weren't there. So, yeah, that bit that I just mentioned, what we'll come on to now, incredibly, I can't believe I've... 6 minutes. How? So, the performance art aspect. So, this film, it suddenly breaks out into, pitch black, one singular spotlight on Margot as she stood in, this neutral... It reminds me of being back at university, because I was doing theatre studies at uni, and we had to wear, it was called kit. It was like plain black trousers, and a grey top. Do you know what I mean? When people are just stood there and sort of, it's all the dramatic body gestures and turning heads and saying, just spouting poetry and shit. Oh God. Right. So there's a few scenes like that where it breaks into pitch black. They're on stage, they're being performing arts students about it, basically. And then that sort of rolls into the lead guy's character because he was studying musical theatre at school, where the love of his life turns him down and all that. Oh, God. Oh, my God. It was so tedious. Oh, my God. Tedious to the point of actually me getting my phone out halfway through. Low brightness, obviously. I have respect for my fellow watchers. Actually, I wanted the few that there was a couple further down the row who would just chat throughout this, and I welcomed that. I wanted the volume up. So right, I got my phone out and I quickly googled A Big Bold Beautiful Journey. I wonder how much. 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's one of those. Do you know what? Do you know what I mean? You're really seriously not enjoying this film, and you need someone else to tell you how shit it is. You need affirmation, you need confirmation, and complete validation of how shocking it is. Well, there we go. Yeah, so this, honestly, there was so much, the dialogue throughout was so, oh my God, it was so boring, and so it's nothing you haven't heard before. It mirrors actually movies such as, well, in fact, Big Fish years ago. I actually remember really enjoying that. It was very, very meaningful, poignant, very special. And was that Ewan McGregor? I think it was. Yeah, that and The Lovely Bones. Do you know that kind of the sort of dark, but they're very dark and kind of twisted, but they carry meaning, strong messages throughout. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I wanted and what I thought this would be, but it just wasn't. I mean, it even sounded like it in the trailer. A big, bold, beautiful journey. A big, bold, terrible journey, honestly. So, if I'm just very quickly, actually, winding back to the beginning, and in fact, I thought he had died, because when he walks into the car rental place and Phoebe Waller-Bridge pops up with a German accent, nice, she suddenly breaks into British again, and I'm like, right, okay, he's clearly either hallucinating or he has died, and he's like, this is purgatory. You see, that's the thing. A Big Bold Beautiful Journey would have been better if both characters were dead. Genuinely, because then it would have added some sort of meaning to it. I would have grasped this concept, both hands and a big heart, and I would have probably half enjoyed it. And the sort of tedious, lengthy, really sort of like philosophical dialogue might have actually packed a punch and proved a point. Unfortunately, neither of the characters were dead or dreaming. It was basically a real life situation where they were clearly hallucinating. This was shocking, absolutely shocking. Right, have I got my points across? I think I have. Don't even bother with this, no matter how much Margot and Colin really, because that's the only positive. No matter how much they put on an incredible, a really talented performance. At points they're like neutral, they're angry, they're emotional and they're crying, they're happy and they're laughing. There's all that, but it makes absolutely no odds. It doesn't make this movie decent in any way. Oh my God, I hate this film. Fucking hell. There's nothing else out though this week. It's only Downton Abbey. I think Jurassic's gone, but yeah, I'm not sitting through Downton Abbey, I can't. That is out soon. It looks proper creepy, doesn't it? And I guarantee that will probably have more like of a philosophical meaning to it that'll touch me in ways I've never been touched, more than A Big Bold Beautiful Journey. So I think the negatives here, as I've just explained, are it's really dull. It gets completely lost in a complete shit show of dialogue, philosophical meanings, like the sort of messages. In fact, it goes overboard. It's as if it was penned by a student whose university teacher was like, right, you really need to drill it. You need to drill in to the meaning, to the meaning. Why the meaning of life is the meaning of life, how you can love someone, even though you don't know them, you've only just met them, how they can be part of your life, how everything would intertwine and you can accept each other's faults, however, it's, oh my God, what absolute shocking shit show. So, you're right. I've got to stop swearing and people are going to... Okay, so... honestly, this was clearly penned and directed by a very over-enthusiastic, highly academic poet who thought they were, making an impact in some reality, but not this one. Jesus Christ. You've got way too deep and meaningful dialogue that it sent me to sleep. You've got the performance arts breaks halfway through, falling silent and then suddenly going loud. You've got pitch black and then the whole sort of Les Miserables effect. You've got spotlight, the bit with the musical theatre, didn't enjoy. The whole the concept overall was just ridiculous. That GPS thing. So it's the GPS in the car that's actually that's sending them on. But they don't question it. Neither of them, they get into the fucking... When Colin gets in and his character starts driving the car, the GPS is talking to him and he's just like, oh, hey, how are you? Yes, how are you? Oh, really? Oh, you think I should take that direction? Okay, fine, whatever, yeah. None of it's question. This would have been so much better, like I said, not without sounding harsh, if both characters were dead or in purgatory or at least in a coma. Being in a coma would have made this highly entertaining and more absorbing. Honestly, I was expecting an emotional enema. What I got was almost shitting myself because I needed the toilet desperately, but still wanted to make it to the end just in case it perked up, and it didn't. So yeah, in the end, actually, Margot's character, she turns up on the doorstep and she's like, oh God, it's very Kate Winslet and what's his name? Is it Idris Elba? Kate Winslet, The Mountains Between Us or something, years ago. Oh my God, she turns up on his doorstep. What if you heard me I can't let you love me, but at the same time, I'm gonna try and be content, because if I don't, I'll never get the chance to actually realize what happiness is. Oh, pissed off. My God. What a load of tedious vomit. Never again. Never again. I really like Margot Robbie in general. Amazingly, given this, reaction. I like her, and especially in Barbie, she was a right giggle, but I think this was miscast. Well, no, actually, miscast for Margot, not for Colin. I mean, he's a bit dull anyway, isn't he? So yeah, he passes off the character and the story perfectly, but yeah. So if you're thinking of sitting down and indulging in a film where two people aren't dead or hallucinating, suddenly stumble across a load of doors that they don't question how, why, the physics or the architecture of, but also want to take a very tedious look into like their histories and futures, ultimately culminating in a load of shite where they are going to get together, but they suddenly have to realise what happiness means, and if they're capable of it. Don't. Basically, don't. This was like one of the worst films I've seen this year. Oh my God. Right. Was that enough for you? Was that enough of a snippet? Oh my God. I'm so glad I went shopping before this. I think I need another round now. Right. So that's, not great. Like I say, the whole, I don't even know her. I can't remember her name because I was that uninterested. But Margot's character, the situation with her mum, I was really geared up there, like I said, for an emotional enema. And I couldn't have felt any any less rusty, just solid, just cold and unaffected. There was nothing about this film, a big, bold, terrible journey, that gripped me or entertained me. Right, okay. So that's it. That's your negatives. 17 minutes. No. I'm trying to think of the positives. No. The soundtrack? I mean, it's just a load of whiny, whingy bullshit. There's like sort of sad piano and cello music playing in the background. Quick, think. Any positives? Quick. The doors are a good idea, I suppose. Not really, at all. The doors, no. In fact, the concept. God, this movie, right? It could have gone. Ironically, it could have taken a different road. The GPS could have shone down and sent it on a path that made this cinema excellence. This would have been a recipe for brilliance had it been written in a different way and sort of had it been actually directed differently as well. Because I've seen films where the characters they go on a journey and they have their glimpse into their future or their past. Even episodes of Doctor Who have really been gut-wrenching, really potent, powerful. This sorely missed the mark, took a different route at the Fork Road and fucked up spectacularly. So for me, there are no positives in a big, bold, beautiful journey, I'm afraid. And that's it. This reaction ends here because I've got nothing else to say. Margot, wow.